Hello everyone, and welcome to a wet Spa-Francorchamps. We are here for the Belgian Grand Prix for the Assist Section 2 race, the final LOR race in F1 2019. I am here with co-commentator Ezzy.
Howdy guys, glad to be here.
And Biggles in the pit lane.
Welcome everybody.
And just for the viewers, as you just saw for the viewers, Duck Lovers retiring right away. The reason for that is that Duck Lovers has a qualifying ban for this race. He has gone over 15 penalty. He has 15 penalty points, and from LOR, not from in-game, from natural LOR stewards, and that earns you a penalty. It earns you a qualifying ban in the race. We're just going to go for a race recap of last week in Mexico, where Mikau dominated in the wet. Once again, Mikau dominating, winning the race, setting the fastest lap. First time all season, actually. Hadn't set a fastest lap until Mexico. Set the fastest lap, had a 1:16.7, and he's currently your championship leader with 88 points. But that could change today. We have a lot of reserves going at it today. A lot more interest for Assist 2 coming into the F1 2020 season. And we are here. Who do you say who is first out on their lap currently?
It looks like the Funky JJ is out in his racing point on his out lap so far. So I'd expect him to be the first driver to start his hot lap tonight.
Henrys is coming through Stavolo, so I'm going to mess up these corner names.
Good call. Yep. Yeah, I'm not very good at French myself, so
yeah,
I
me neither.
Apologize to the viewers. I didn't take any French classes. I took Spanish instead, so when we get to Barcelona, I might be able to help you out a bit more.
Well, ¿cómo estás?
I am checking.
Bien, too?
Yeah.
Bien tú.
Yeah.
Está bien.
Yeah.
There we go. That probably sounds really bad to any of us, Spanish-speaking audience, but I'm excited to be here at Spa. This is as mentioned, it's the final race in 2019. And we're all looking forward to the new game, coming out next week. But it's the last chance, the last hurrah for these guys to show what they have, especially in these tough conditions. It really is going to highlight all the skills it takes that they've accumulated over the past year in this.
Ooh, and Henrys is off. Henrys has lost part of his wing. He is off just before coming into Kemmel Corner. So that's not good for him. And Mikau is also off. Coming through Radion. His entire front wing is off. This is their championship leader. He is still on the track. And I'm sure he will come back for this, determined. The championship leader is the championship leader for a reason.
Tricky conditions. So that's obviously out. It looks like that's out of the high-speed hill section right now, which is I'm gonna mind blank right now. Rouge.
There's a Ferrari going slow. It's Jetty. He's renamed himself to Schumacher. No, sorry, that was an Alfa Romeo. That was Stevie. Stevie going slow. Is invalidated his laps, going slow. Lots of yellow flags after just a couple of minutes in qualifying.
These guys, it's really tricky conditions right now. I mean, obviously, I didn't think they'd be pushing that much on an out lap. However, it's kind of get a feel for the track, Obviously, you want to get around the lap first. Even put a banker, at least just a banker lap in, whether it's going to be a lot slower or not, it can make all the difference. Because if you fully crash out, that's it. It's game over for qualifying. So at least you have a banker lap, you might still have a chance to qualify, because I'm sure there's probably going to be other drivers right now that are going to take it a little bit too fast and get a little too much damage, and it could be game over for their qualifying. So it's still testing. It's still intermediates. There's no puddles that I can see on the track right now, so it's definitely in inter conditions, but it's heavy rain, and these drivers are going to really struggle right now. But hey, why not have a great this looks like a great mix-up to the qualifying session for the end of the 2019 game.
Looks like Total Wizard will be the first across the line. 156.721 in the intermediates. That'll be your first lap, and Jetty is 3 seconds behind that with a 1:59.2.
Just to put that in perspective, that's a full 20 seconds slower than we saw on this track earlier this week in the dries. So
No, we didn't see anywhere near 30 times. We saw 1:44s were the fastest times that were set.
So if we're set for a dry race tomorrow, which I'm not quite sure about the weather forecast yet, because
Meanwhile, I have to interrupt you. Chen setting the fastest time, 1:54.8. Chen has been near up with Mick out in the standings. I believe he is 3rd place in the championship standings right now for assist 2. Yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
yeah, I mean, obviously this is like tricky conditions right now, and whether or not it'll be a dry race tomorrow, that will then give the drivers, I believe, a selection of what tire dry compound that they would like to start the race on. And as we know, the softs are quick around here, but they also wear pretty quickly as well. So it is this is the longest track in the Formula One calendar. So, the medium compounds, I think, might be a good option. Usually most drivers obviously qualify on the softs because it sets the fastest pace. But when you throw the rain into the mix like this, and if it's a dry race tomorrow, aka after the qualifying session in the virtual world, there will be the option for them to select what tire compound that they would like to start on from their qualifying pace. So it might be a good little mix of the strategy. We've seen some really exciting races too in the other tiers in the league so far, as this is the final race before we go into the break before the 2020 game. So I'm looking forward to this. This is already a great little mix up to the start. Chen obviously has already started to set his domination once again, but you can see who can mix it up there. Now we also have Schumacher in P7. I believe Schumacher was which driver?
Jetty.
Jetty?
Yep, Jetty
Jetty.
has decided for the new game to become
just for our
Schumacher.
viewers out there that might not have been aware of the change there. So Schumacher is Jetty. Thank you guys.
Yes, so I spoke with one of the drivers, and the forecast. One of the team's drivers, and the forecast for tomorrow for the race later is dry. So as Biggles mentioned, we are going to see some alternative strategies, but it's going to be interesting, especially with Park, with the solidification of the Park Ferme, the kind of mixing it up, because you're going to have to quali in the wet, but then run in the dry. So that's going to be a little bit of a balance. We'll see. So we might have some slower drivers if they put some higher downforce on their rear wing to cope with these wet conditions.
Do you think these drivers would select when they first obviously discovered during the qualifying that there was going to be wet? Do you think they kind of looked at the forecast and said, okay, you know what, I'll use a dry setup and try to do my best in the qualifying under that dry setup, and sacrifice obviously a lot, as we've seen early accidents already, because they're probably using the dry setup and then they struggled and then did some damage?
Well, for me, when I see if it's going to be a wet qualifying and a dry race, I tend to add some downforce to my front wing, and I try not to touch the rear wing at all. Maybe add one there if I really feel like it's needed, and that will allow me when it's dry to bump, because you can't adjust your front wing under the rules. So that lets me bump the front wing back to what I would normally use for a dry setup. So it gives me a little bit of flexibility there. So I tend not to go for a completely ideal wet if it's going to be a dry race, because the race obviously is a little bit more important in my eyes, but you can still get pretty decent pace and keep yourself on the track in the wet conditions.
Okay. Yeah. And sorry, just one further question, if you were to qualify, let's say within the top 10, would you possibly would some of these drivers look at switching to start on the mediums rather than the softs for the race?
That's a really good question. I think that comes down to an individual basis. I think if what I would look at is if I have a teammate in the top 10, I would probably consider going for the alternative strategy, so we don't double up on that pit stop.
Gotta interrupt you here. Heiners is coming to the finish line. He's been purple in sectors 1 and 2. He had to lift off at Radeon because CSTM was close. He gets second, 156.4, but it just shows that this track right now it seems to be drying off a little bit if Henners can get that pace with lifting off through such a high-speed corner.
It's interesting right now. So if you were to make a decision as a driver, will it be worthwhile? We still have 7 minutes to go. Do you think it'd be worthwhile just sitting in the pits, sitting in your box, waiting, see if it dries out a little bit more, and then go out? Otherwise, potentially going out now. Oh, yeah, Montoya looks like, is Montoya putting softs on? No, he hasn't. Just sitting in the box, waiting to see what the conditions are, and then coming out a little later. Because obviously, if you do go out early, and you try to set your flying lap, and you make a mistake, you could potentially lose a front wing damage, cost you a little bit of time in the stages. Have to go back to the box. You're obviously going to be a lot slower going back to the box. Had to repair the wing damage and then go back out, which means you may only get one more lap to do a qualifying session in also changeable conditions as well. So you're not quite sure how much grip there is and so forth. So you can see right now, but everybody seems to be out. I mean, there's only looks like there's 5 drivers right now in the pits. So I think, and once again, we still have 5 drivers that have yet to set a bank of a lap.
Yeah, I was just on board with Vlad Red, and he invalidated his lap in the final corner. The bus stop chicane just couldn't slow the car down quick enough. So that's good disappointing for him. But yeah, I mean, really, since it's such a long track, you only have 4 more minutes that you can sit in the pits before you have to be out on the track, and to be able to start your hot lap in time before the time expires. So I think intermediates are going to be the tire. I don't think it's going to dry up at all nearly enough for that to be worth the risk.
CSTM is coming across the line. This is his first LOR race. We're going to see what he can do. He gets 8th, 157.4. Just ahead of Swifty. I say just ahead, quite a bit ahead of Swifty, actually. There's pretty big gap, actually, between what's right now the top 9 and the rest of the grid. Just that a big 7/10 of a gap.
I don't want to. Yeah, it's a pretty impressive gap that we have, and it just goes to show that a lot of drivers don't really practice all that much in these wet conditions. So, if you take an hour or 2 to do so, you can really out-qualify a lot of drivers who might even be really good in the dry. So it's kind of a different experience for a lot of these people. And I don't want to sound cynical, but kind of one thought I had is kind of being toward the back of the grid isn't the worst spot to be.
Right now, it looks like Jetty and Chen are kind of racing right now, as Chen is able to set that fastest lap once again, probably with some slipstream following Jetty. It's just looking like coming through the bus stop chicane, looking like they were racing. They're both, in fact, setting qualifying times.
So yeah, welcome Fenley to the stream. Fenley is just a chatter. Well, welcome. I hope you're enjoying the broadcast right now. Yes, to answer your question, Fenley's just been asking about the race distance and so forth, and whether there's a Discord channel. So if you guys are watching, I posted the Discord channel link.
Yeah, the Discord link is. Sorry to interrupt you. I know sometimes do that, but I just think the Discord link is in the banner at the top right. So I'm sorry, words, but where you see where it says join at, and then it gives you a link. That is where our Discord server is.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Yep, there you go. Tiny Euro lights out F1. So yeah, I hope you join and encourage other people to join. It's a lot of fun racing. And once you get into the Discord and chat to these guys, everybody has a lot of fun. There's a lot of quick drivers. And it's great to commentate as well. We welcome more and more drivers. But back to the racing. We have a bunch of people in the pits right now. So 3 minutes. Obviously, they're getting ready. Going to put some fresh tires on. Fresh inters. Still way too wet to go dries. They'll sit there and probably wait to the very last possible moment they can to go out.
Ooh, and that's Steven hitting the wall, spinning out, losing part of his wing, half of his wing. That was him coming out of Radion. Luckily, he is still in, technically, but that is that is basically his qualifying over. He's gonna start on that back half of the grid.
Yeah, this is the risk that I thought that would happen. Like, as it's changeable conditions, you need a few banker laps. You need to kind of get in there and kind of measure how much pace there is, how dry it is, where your braking points are. How you can kind of improve on your speed a little bit. But we're really running out of time right now. We only have 2.5 minutes left. So these guys aren't going to get much chance. If you make one little mistake, you invalidate your lap. You go a little too wide, you spin, it's game over. So now it's all about just trying to get your fastest lap in. And it looks like most of these guys are just going to put one lap in, give it everything they got, and try to improve on their positions right now.
Right now, we're on board with Mikkel, your championship leader, by a wide margin coming into Belgium. How is he doing in terms of this lap?
It looks like he is not pushing because he's 3 seconds up on his best time. So he's probably coming to the pits. He has 3-lap-old tires, so...
Yeah, and that'll be it. As Dick Tucker has retired, looks like he was at the bus stop chicane. I don't know if he just decided that his lap time wasn't good enough or if he crashed, but...
So to let the audience know, let the viewers know who may be new to Formula One, on these conditions there is no DRS that's available. That's called the drag reduction system. It gives the drivers a little bit of extra wing. It opens up a little letterbox, shall we say, at the back of the wing, gives them a little bit more speed. They can use it during the qualifying. At the moment, they can't use it under wet conditions. And tomorrow, for the race, shall we say, in virtual world, straight after qualifying, they will be able to get a selection of whatever tires that they want to use if it's a dry race. So generally, the compounds they will choose to start the race in, which is popular, are the softs and the mediums. The hards are something that can take you to the end of the race. However, you lose about a second and a half per lap on the hards. So.
And of course, you are required to make at least one pit stop during the race.
Exactly. Good call. Thank you. I forgot about that one. Yep.
Yeah, no problem. Henner's crossing the line, unable to improve on his lap time. We now go to... Most people are on their out laps. I think the first person coming up, it's not gonna be who I thought it was. I'm just trying to find who's on their current lap right now. Mikkel is still out. He's still trying on those... How many laps old are those tires by now?
Four laps, but I'm not sure they really wear as quickly, so maybe it doesn't have... I mean, all he has to do is try to gain a little bit on Chen, who's finished his. Chen cannot improve right now. Mikkel will finish his lap. I'm not sure if he's delta times, so let's have a look.
Yeah, he's plus 0.8 tenths, so I don't think he's going to be able to make that up. Well, he was a little... had to lift a bit over in the middle of Sector 2, coming down the hill there because there's another car on track in front, so that probably spoiled his time a touch.
Yep, and freeware at Henner's, and I hope everyone enjoyed the DMR versus MLR League Racing exhibition race that occurred the other day. Also, the MLR had a luxury of having the real F1 driver on their broadcast that occurred as well. If you guys had watched that, Nicholas Latifi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they raced Nicholas Latifi, who actually was...
And Henner's decides to send it. Cannot improve his time. Just decides to send it into the wall at Stavelot. That is turn 15 at the very bottom of the circuit. For those who don't know corner names.
He will not approve. There's a little collision there between Yoda and I'm not sure who's behind Yoda. It's Toro Rosso.
And that's it for their. That's it for their laps, though. So it's probably AI controlled.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, CSTM will be the final person to cross, but their lap is invalidated. So the grid will be Chen in first place, Mick out in second, and Chen decides, like Charles Non-Crash at the end of the very first LOR race, to send it across the start-finish line.
That's right.
Got a penalty for that, actually, but...
You'll see that with these guys. obviously, and if it's in the last lap, the last corner, whatever, they can like make it a little bit of amusement as they go across the line, because obviously it's the end of the race. It doesn't affect anything.
Yeah,
Like,
I was wrong. Sorry, sorry, he didn't get a penalty for that. I was thinking of the practice race where Secret just decided to finish the race in the pit lane. Anyways, we're gonna go to the pre-race video, and we'll see you then. Bye. Hello everyone, we are back and we are here for the actual Grand Prix now, the Belgian Grand Prix. This is round 5 of the Assist Section 2 season, and the last race, once again, the last LOR race in F1 2019, and the 17th official league race in LOR history. We are here at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps, the longest circuit in the F1 calendar, and it's on the F1 calendar. Your fastest LOR lap time was set by FST Izzy in the non-assist tier, 144.891. We'll see if anyone can beat that today. Going to the championship standings, it is Mikau very far in the lead with 88 points. Freeware in second with 49. Ken in third place with 43. That mainly rounds out your top 3. It is very much closer as you go down the standings, as you can see, going into the back half of the grid. Not everyone is here today, though. There are reserve drivers who are racing for the first time. That is why you will not see them on the standings list. I am joined today by Ezzy and Biggles in pit lane, as we have said earlier. I already introduced you. I'm going to introduce you again. There you go. How are you all doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Obviously raced here on Saturday and know the track a little bit, and I'm glad it's going to be a dry race. I think that will make it a bit more exciting. But turn 1 and a Rouge for the first couple laps are going to be a lot of fun. So I think we're going to have a good race in our hands, nearly full grid, 19 drivers here today. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, and I noticed too, strategy-wise, we're looking at the top 5 starting in the softs. Welcome everybody too, and welcome Ezzy and Kraz. It's good to join you guys again down here in the pit lane. So the top 5 are starting on softs. We have a little strategy mix up there with Wizard. He's in the other McLaren behind his teammate Yoda. So Wizard's going to start in the mediums. Then we have a split there. We have Funky JJ, I believe, Pilot Garbage going to start on the softs. Then Dick Tuck is going to start in the mediums. CTSM and Striffy will be on the softs. Back to Schumacher. P12 will start on the mediums, and then a few more on the softs back there. And Vlad will start on the medium. So we have 4 drivers choosing to start on the medium compound. The rest of them are going to start on the softs. And as we've seen before, as they line up for the grid, we've seen before, there's been a lot of incidents, obviously, in the first corner. As it occurs in the real world, it also occurs in the virtual world. And so back to you guys.
So I'm just going through camera reviews, just trying to find the best camera to start this race at. It should be this one right here. Alright, we got the 5 red lights coming on. Ken on the left, Mick on the right, and it is Lights Out Racing. We are waiting just a second. It is now Lights Out Racing in Belgium as everyone gets underway. We're going to see if everyone is able to get through turn 1 nice and clean. Looking like it at the moment. Nobody flying off so far, but now we're going down to Eau Rouge and Radion, and the top 4 have a significant gap to the rest of the field. There's already contact before Eau Rouge That was Yoda and Pile of Garbage. One of them lost an end plate. But so far, everyone up Origin Radion without any collisions. I'd say that as we have a safety car. I don't know who that's for. It's Big Poppy and Duck Lovers. As Duck Lovers gets a 5-second penalty for a collision. That is not good when you're starting off your race with the qualifying ban.
Yep, it looks like Duck Lovers it cost a lot. He's dropped all the way down in the back. He's got damage on the front end plate. We saw there's a little bit of squabbling obviously at the back there. They did come clean through there. I didn't see anybody spinning or crashing out in the wall. However, there was a lot of carbon fiber flying all over the track, shall we say. So the Duck Lovers had dropped all the way back. I'm not sure what actually bring the safety car out, because everybody is pointing in the right direction, which is a good thing, obviously, especially coming out of the first corner of Spa,
and someone ran very deep into the corner. That was CSTM in the Haas. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't realize. Yeah, I don't think he realizes that there's a safety car out. He's trying to race everyone. Ooh, and there's contact. Swifty rams into the back of CSTM. Luckily, his wing seems to be fine. Custom, though, I'm not sure about his wing, although it is the Haas. It is black car, so it's hard to see, although I think he might have an end plate missing.
So, yeah, obviously the biggest losers here right now were Schumacher, who's dropped back 5 positions. He's now in P17 in the Ferrari. Big Puppy, 18, as you just mentioned there. He's dropped back 3 positions. He's second last, just ahead of Duck Lovers. Dropped back 1 position. Now we have boxing. We have Chen and Freeware boxing.
Yeah, we have Custom and Pile of Garbage. Both of them have damage. They're going to have to repair their cars. But Chen going into the pits, that leaves Mikau at the head of this race. That's not something that you want to see if you're any other driver on this circuit. Mikau is so good at those safety car restarts, and once he's in the lead, he's gone. One thing that I do need to mention for the viewers is that there is a bug that I get in Germany. There's a bug that I get when the first person that I go on spectator mode like this, when you're on this camera. For some reason, in Belgium, the first person I go in spectator mode always has their engine constantly revving. And it's only on Belgium. It's really weird. And for that race, that person is Total Wizard. So when you hear Total Wizard, if you hear constant revving, and I know that's annoying, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can really do about it. It's just a bug in the game. Hopefully that'll be sorted when we get to F1 2020.
Yeah, so just look.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah, just looking at the kind of after the safety car, look at the grid. We have some big movers. Cirillo is up 9 spots, along with Swifty up 5, and Dick Tucker up 5 as well. So we have some big movers. Freeware is obviously the big loser, along with the Funky JJ. They're down 10 and 7 positions respectively. So some big gainers off of the safety car, and some losers. So the people who pit are going to be racing to catch on up here now before the safety car gets into Sector 3.
It's an interesting strategy right now, obviously, for these early drivers who, obviously, like Chen and so forth, who have already qualified right up in the top positions. Now they have boxed early for the mediums.
Yeah, I don't know if mediums are going to be able to last. That's 20 laps, so it's possible they could be able to push them to that far. It'll be a little slick at the end, but it'll be going to be interesting to see if anyone tries to take that risk and save a pit stop.
We'll see. Is safety car? Everyone's bunched up, so I believe that safety car would be coming in. We haven't gotten a notification yet, and the light is still blinking on the safety car.
No, it's going to be staying out for one more lap.
All right, it's going to be staying out, but next lap we will be going. Everyone is in the line. Everyone's close to each other. Safety car is particularly damaging, though, when it's on such a long track. The number of laps are different for every F1 race. Here in Belgium, it's only 22 laps.
We have JJ and CSTM also boxing right now as well after the second lap of the safety car.
Good to know. Thank you for that information. Where are they pitting? They seem to be pitting on some mediums.
Yeah, damage right now on the Funky JJ, and I didn't quite catch. Obviously, I can only be at one end of the pit lane and the other, so couldn't quite see what happened to CSTM. But they're both in the mediums, obviously. I didn't know if CSTM had damage, but definitely JJ had damage. So, oh, it looks like they're racing out of the pit lane as well. That's interesting.
Yeah, they're just testing it back to the safety car.
Cut in here, Henry under the safety car was moving back and forth to warm up his tires, and he ended up sliding into the wall and damaged his left end plate. So under safety car, while trying to keep his tires warm, he damaged his front wing. So that's going to be severely impacted his race.
So in essence, he did a Grosjean, but without taking himself out.
Well, Ericsson was right behind him and caused him to go into the wall. So once again, that's his fault.
Sorry. Yeah.
The ghost of Ericsson really does trouble all these drivers in virtually and in real life.
Well, no, you had it live, and that's a quote right now, and I'm sure those drivers really hate the fact that happened now, because now they've become a meme, shall we say, for every time that happens, other than the safety car. So right now, thinking at the gainers, the biggest gainers, obviously Dick Tuckers, he's up to 4th position. He's gained 5 positions from the start. Strifty's gained 5 positions. Solo's gained a lot there in the Haas. P7, 9 positions up now. Obviously, some people have boxed earlier. Safety car will be in this lap, so back to you guys.
Here, the safety car pulls away, and it is up to the driver in first, who is Mikau. It is up to him when he decides to start racing at full speed, but you cannot pass anyone until you come across the start-finish line. So it will be a bit. You can pay attention to Mikau. In that number 53 Mercedes, he is incredibly good at safety car restarts. But will we see him fault here today is the question. Henders will have to either go into the pits or race with an end plate. And it seems like we're getting back up to speed. Mikau has decided to bolt. We'll see what happens. Will Henders pit? We leave to was no. Henders is gonna stay out on that broken wing. He's gonna try to catch up with Mikau even with that damage. We are underway. We're gonna see. We're going to go to the midfield, see if anyone is able to overtake on this safety car restart. As Vlad Red gets ahead of Steven, that's not the battle we're watching right now. And not really anyone able to seem to get ahead, although LOR, Freeware, and Big Poppy are all very close.
It's a spinner.
Oh, and that's contact for LOR. Big Poppy's retired. LOR's lost his wheel. LOR's retired. Out of the race. I suspect that would bring out another safety car, but we will see. Yellow flag in Sector 1, though. Everyone else still racing.
Yeah, 2 through a Rouge was not going to work, and there was a little tapping between the tires, side by side. Obviously, somebody's going to have to go through the wall, into the wall at that speed, and that obviously had cost the Leo, was it? Steven.
Yeah, we saw Steven spinning around, and then I was on board with LOR, but I don't know if he just was unable to avoid that, or if there was someone else who tapped into him.
No, I got a good look at that. I was on board with Pile of Garbage, who literally was the lucky person through that. He was right behind all the carnage and was able to drive through that unscathed. But Steven lost it trying to go up double wide up a Rouge, and kind of Big Poppy was unlucky and got T-boned amongst all the carnage. So really unfortunate. Kind of was an innocent bystander there, but that thing kind of happens sometimes, unfortunately.
So we had somebody in the Twitch feed there asking if we can give a little bit of onboard of Pile of Garbage. So we are. I actually, just as he said that, am now on board with Pile of Garbage. He's trying to pass Schumacher, and Yoda is also trying to pass Dick Tucker. They're the closest. They're the closest drivers to other people right now. Solo's boxing in the house. Does he get front wing damage? No. Yes, he does. He shows his front wing, and he's gone into the mediums.
Schumacher gets a better exit out of turn 1, going up a Rouge and Rowdy, and both drivers going up at just fine, maximizing their advantage. He's taking all the curbs. Getting good exits, and Chen now making a move on Swifty through the chicanes. Turns 5 and 6. Nice move from him. Yoda now moving up on Dick Tucker. They're side by side. Dick Tucker squeezing Yoda out. They make contact wheel to wheel. Dick Tucker keeps his advantage. I don't know. I don't know how if Yoda's fine with that move or if he's mad at it. Meanwhile, Duck Lovers has overtaken Freeware and is coming for Pile of Garbage. I think Pile of Garbage is close to Schumacher, but has lost some time, so I don't know how much that's affected Duck Lovers getting to P11.
So the guys that have restarted on the softs, Macau and Henna, they are already building a huge gap right now. Macau's got a nice big gap, 3.3 over Henna in P2. Macau in the Mercedes and Henna is in the Williams. Now they're building a little bit of a gap there as Total Wizards trying to keep up with them on the mediums. He's only 1.2 behind Henna. So if he can keep up the pace in the softs, that's going to look good for his strategy. Also behind him is Dick Tucker. He's also about 1.5 seconds behind.
Duck Lovers and Pile of Garbage are battling at the end of the bus stop chicane. It is Toro Rosso versus Williams here. Who will get ahead at turn 1 as Schumacher kind of blocking the way a little bit. They're still side by side. You see Duck Lovers ahead, and yes, they're no longer side by side. Duck Lovers now has P10. Although Pile of Garbage is sticking right behind him and will have the DRS, but so will Duck Lovers on the back of Schumacher. Duck Lovers is gaining and is looking to go on down the inside turn 5. They make contact wheel to wheel, and Duck Lovers is able to sweep through. And will Pile of Garbage? Yes. Schumacher, although no, goes into the gravel and will lose a place to Freeware. I thought Pile of Garbage had made that move. I thought it was done deal, but no, this goes too wide and loses 2 positions.
That's some great racing between those drivers. That kind of brought me back to the Schumacher Hakkinen famous overtake that happened in the exact same spot with the 3 cars going down that straight. So almost.
Ooh, there's contact. Kyle Garbage and Custom. Wheels of the CSTM will now be ahead. Pile of Garbage just losing place after place.
This is going to cost the soft riders a lot of time right now because they're on a different strategy right now, and they need to get in front of these medium runners. Otherwise, it's going to cost them because they, as we know, the medium runners are going to go a lot longer on these tires. And if these soft drivers right now, who should be on a faster compound, can't get past them, they're in a lot of trouble right now.
Do you know if Garbage has any damage to his Toro Rosso?
I unfortunately don't have the telemetry information now. Race control hasn't enabled that for me, so I can't.
Which driver were you wondering about?
Garbage.
I will take a look.
Garbage battling with JJ now.
He's missing his right end plate.
Yeah, that would explain it. That would explain why he's losing so many positions and he loses another one to the funky JJ.
He will still have the DRS that should still enable him a possible advantage in the speed. As you can see, he's pulling on the side there. He's going to have the straight line speed. DRS is about 20 kilometers an hour more.
Duck Lover.
Oh, big contact. Luckily, it's the wheels. No, there is. Oh, the contact ahead of them with Custom.
Yep, there's at least 4 cars involved there at the end of a Rouge.
Yeah, Custom is missing end plate. Duck Lover is also missing an end plate, and there's a VSC out now.
I'll keep you informed about what's happening in the pit lane.
The virtual safety car is now out. All the cars have to slow down, match a certain pace, or else they get time penalties.
So will we see an early pit stop from these leaders right now who are 6-lap-old, both Mikau and Hennes?
Dick Tucker has retired from the session.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Hopefully he might come back in.
No, his car is off.
Oh.
His car is off at turn 13, looks like.
That's a big change in the championship.
That was under VSC, though. So I don't know if we lost it under VSC.
Oh, and Mikau boxes. Mikau's in the box. The race leader's in the box. Also, Hennes, P1 and P2 are boxed. They changed to the mediums. There's no damage to either of them, so they're back out. They're going to drop a few places, but they should feed back in midfield, 6th or 7th, I think, depending on the other cars. Also, Balad has boxed. No, Balad's stayed out.
So Mikow comes out. He is P4.
Nice little strategy there. He's got fresh rubber on. Wizard still is going to regain the lead of this. He's got 7 lap tires.
Yeah. You say Wizards regain the lead. Yoda has taken it from him as McLaren teammate for this race. I say teammate. He is a reserve driver. Will not be scoring any official points for McLaren.
So McLaren 1-2.
1-2 at the moment. Chen is hoping to change that up. As he follows the two McLarens, definitely looking for a way to get past Total Wizard. Not right now, needs to be just a little bit patient.
Now, interesting, Schumacher has boxed, came back out, he's dead last right now, but he's got the softs back on, so this is an interesting strategy. He's obviously going to go for a two-stop strategy, so he'll have to box again, most likely, because those softs will not run to the end of this track, that's for sure. So maybe he's trying to get some pace right now. He is 11 seconds off Duck Lovers in P14. But Yoda is the one right now in front.
Chen is now passing Total Wizard, uses the edges of the circuit, and has passed into second place. The Total Wizard is making a dive bomb into the bus stop chicane, and he makes big contact with Wizard. And Yoda's Total Wizard has lost his end plate. Yoda has boxed.
Let's check to see if he did damage.
Yeah, Wizard has damage. I don't think Chen does, based on where they made contact to the back of Chen's car. So Chen won't have any damage.
No, he's boxed. They didn't fix anything on the front, so he's gone back out. He's changed to the mediums. Whether he had damage or not, I'm not quite sure, but they didn't replace the front wing, so...
who is that? Yoda.
Yeah, Yoda. He's dropped back into P7 after his pit stop.
Yoda, I'm not sure. I have to. Yeah, he does not have damage anymore. Meanwhile,
Pile of glue's the only one still remaining in the front there.
A pile of garbage.
Yep.
And Vlad Red has retired. Don't know what's gone on.
The 5th retirement now in the race. We still have.
It didn't pop up. It didn't pop up at the bottom of the screen. Just retired just through Eau Rouge.
We still have 14 runners. We have everybody running soft, medium compounds apart from Pile of Garbage in P6 on 7 lap.
Oh, sorry everyone. I accidentally connected. Yoda has now made a move on Pile of Garbage. Sorry, I have. They're trying to come back, but yeah, he's saying Total Wizard with the damage now in his car. It's now a 2-second gap from him and Chen, and Wizard is just really trying to be aggressive, but just had lost out on the braking coming into the bus stop chicane and tried very aggressively to come back. Just didn't work out for him. Just went right into the back of Chen.
Yeah, Chen sets the fastest lap on the mediums. What's going on for softs right now? Pile of Garbage is on the softs. We've seen many of these drivers right now on the softs being overtaken by the mediums as Pile of Garbage decides to choose only 7-lap-old softs, and we've seen a safety car already. So, are they really that worn that quickly? He's boxing right now. Obviously,
he does have damage. That is part of it.
The softs, I mean, it's decided now to go straight to the mediums. And I'll go about, but there's a lot of battles going on board, so I'll go back to you.
Yeah, right now we're seeing Henners trying to catch up with Swifty. Swifty checking it with Montoya. There's a virtual safety car there. That is Schumacher off. That is Schumacher DNFing at turn 16. Again, I'm not getting pop-ups for retired drivers, or maybe I just didn't notice that last one, but I didn't get a pop-up for Vlad Red. It's certainly interesting under VSC circumstances. And now we're back at the battle. You're seeing Swifty and Montoya battling. We're watching this from the perspective of Henners, who's also looking to try and get P8. Ooh, and Swifty into the grass. That will leave the opportunity open for Henners, but he's just going to have to wait.
What an absolute exciting way to end this 2019 game. Sorry, my apologies. As we've seen before in the other tiers, it's a consistent battle between these guys. Just look at, there's nothing between them. Everyone wants to give everything they got. This is the last time you're going to see these guys racing in the 2019 game, this racing league. So it's just absolutely exciting. We've seen it in the other tiers. It's just wheel-to-wheel battle, especially even in Belgium. It's such a long track. You still see so much racing. Back to you, as you commentate on Montoya.
Swifty able to make the dive bomb work on Montoya. Wizard wasn't able to make it work on Ken, but Swifty makes it work on Montoya. As Henners is now on the back of Montoya, going to try to catch him up. Has a much better exit. Montoya goes wide, now it'll be Henners into P8. And Henners is going to come after Swifty. Less a brilliant move and more just capitalizing on the other's mistakes. Henners had a brilliant turn 1. And now Henners has a brilliant Eau Rouge in Radion, and he is going to pass Swifty on the Camel Straight. He's into P7. Just has so much pace right now.
Yeah, those fresh medium tires are sure seem to be the ones to have. Yoda on 2-lap-olds making moves. Henners on 3 laps, and Swifty on 3 laps.
And Mikau making a move on Total Wizard. That is Mikau up into P2. And will be coming for Chen. The only time when Mikau has not won was when he got into a crash in Germany, and even then he was able to recover all the way back up to P4. And it was Chen who won that race. So Mikau will not be wanting to let Chen win yet another race.
Yep, this will be very interesting right now because Mikau is the one that's on the best strategy right now in P2. There's yellow somewhere there. He's in P2. He's on now. He's across his line. 4-lap old mediums, so really fresh right now. Chen up ahead of him has 10-lap mediums, and behind him he has Wizard on 11. So he has the best tire strategy right now. Fresh rubber. He's got the pace. He's 6 seconds off Chen. However, Chen will struggle. We're halfway through the race right now. Chen has to obviously make those tires go to the end and do another 10, or we're looking at here, at least 10 plus laps on those tires. So he's going to be up around the 20 lap on mediums, whereas Mikau's going to have an easy 6-lap fresh tire advantage over P1 Chen. So it's going to be an interesting finish between these two very fast drivers.
And we see Swifty able to get back up on Henners as Montoya has left the session, not retired. He's left the session. Connection issues. Hopefully, Montoya will be able to get back into this race.
It looks like he's retired, actually. He's DNF'd for me, so...
Oh.
A little squabble at the back there between P8 and P9, between the MRL guys of Henner and Swifty. So I'll let you commentate that race there between the Williams and the Mercedes.
And sorry about that, so I had to deal with something very quickly. As you see Swifty going wide into the gravel a little bit, has recovered, but Henners is charging up, will want to overtake him once again, and will have the speed to do so already on the back of him, and coming out to turn 16. Swifty staying ahead though, just has the better line, now into turn 17 coming up to the bus stop chicane. What will Henners do? He's going to let Swifty go for now. Just wanting to pick his spots. And that is not the place for Henners to overtake right now. Has DRS, though, coming into turn 1. Will now be the time. Henners is very good at those turn 1s, going very much down the inside. And Swifty taking more of an outside line. As he's going down to Eau Rouge and Radion. Two cars very close. Sometimes it ends poorly going through there. Both cars make it through fine. Hender's had the DRS, had to lift off a little bit to not collide with Swifty, but now Hender's is safely ahead into P7.
Yep, this isn't exciting, isn't it? Like, it's obviously different a lot from the real Formula One racing, because you don't see a Williams battling a Mercedes-powered car very often and then letting it get past, as Hedder had made the pass in the Williams past the Mercedes. So good job to Hennis. And they're both on very similar. They're both on exactly the same tires right now. 5-lap old mediums. They have to try to make them run to the end, unless they're going to try to do a quick dive to the softs at the end. That will cost them, because I was in the midfield right now. Swifty has a 13-second gap over pile of garbage, so if they can keep up this pace, they may have a pit stop at hand, but obviously they're thinking about forward, not backwards. So there we go, as Chen looks like he's building a little bit more of a lead over Macau right now, as Chen also has 12-lap old mediums. It's still setting good pace, and what can Macau do about that? It's almost 6.5 seconds behind his Wizard boxes.
We're on 12-lap old mediums. Suspect he's going to go for another set of mediums. 8 laps, we saw people pitting and changing out of those softs before the 8 laps were done. So I suspect he would go on to another set of mediums. He replaces wings, and now he decides to go on the set of softs. He's going to risk it.
Front wing damage. He's changing it, so he had damage there. So that's cost him. So it's going to drop him all the way back now. He's probably going to end up P10 perhaps, as these guys come around. Yeah, he's gone for the softs. Softs at the end, dude. That's a bit of a struggle. But he might as well take the gamble now that he's dropped all the way back to P8.
Definitely true. So far again, Mikhail has not been able to make the gap up to Chen. Mikhail is very good when leading a race and often very good at catching up, but Chen just seems to have the pace right now, even with 6-lap older medium tires.
And it looks like Swifty's going to make another move there in the DRS range on Hannes. They're still battling out these two guys. Once again, the Williams and the Mercedes. Swifty has kept within DRS range. They have this exact same tire strategy. What can he do? Can he try to make a move down the very long straight? But as they're going to be approaching to the bus stop now, got to keep within the DRS and then try again for the next lap as we approach into lap 15. Once they get down into the final section 3 of the track. That's the closest battle that I can see right now.
Yeah, what Henders has been good at this race is picking and choosing his battles. As Mikhail sets the fastest lap, 147.082. Remember what I said just a second ago? Mikhail just not having the pace? He's proving me wrong right now. Does have a pace to catch up. The question is, will he catch up before the race is over?
I believe he also needs to manage his tires a little bit, because there's still a long way to go. He knows that, I mean, obviously his engineers, Jeff, as we all know Jeff, you've raced before in this game, Jeff, will be giving a little bit of advice about the car up ahead, what tire strategy they're on. Chen is obviously on 13-lap old tires. It's almost double the amount of time on those tires. So Mikhail knows he has a tire advantage. He knows he has to just keep within the distance and just try to pace to see when Chen starts making mistakes, when Chen starts losing a bit of time. Chen is still pushing right now. He's still keeping a nice 6-second gap ahead. It's averaging around that time, so Chen has the pace. But Mikhail, as a very wise driver, is just going to sit back behind, waiting for Chen, just for those tires to start eventually slipping a little bit more, losing a bit of grip, going a little bit wide, and then all of a sudden Mikhail's going to start gaining, 200th of a second or even half a second per lap, and easily overtake Chen. So it's a battle strategy between those front two right now.
And we see Big Poppy has left the session, although he crashed out a long time ago. He's just been watching this race. Swifty, meanwhile, Swifty has been catching up. He lost out a bit. He was out of Henners's DRS range, but is now caught back up, although now he's barely on the edge. And Mikhail once again sets the fastest lap, 147.074. Not as fast as the other league's fastest laps just yet, but he is on those medium tires.
Yeah, fresh out medium times. It's almost only just trying to take out about half a second away, Because remember before when we were speaking, it was about 6-second gap between Chen and Mikhail. Now he's got that down to about 400th of a second. Still not quite half a second yet. Chen is obviously pushing like crazy. I wonder what Chen's thinking right now with the strategy. His tires have to go to the end, still has a long way to go. And if he's losing this much time right now to Mikhail, what would you do strategy-wise? What can he do to try to regain P1 and have the advantage over Mikhail, knowing that you have a driver, a fresh rubber, who's pushing a little quicker than you are?
I don't know if there really is anything that he can do. I think it's kind of a situation that we have similar to the Hamilton-Verstappen conundrum in Hungary last season, where Chen's kind of got to stay out there. He has the lead. It's 5.5 seconds. There's 6 laps to go, and so you just gotta run the risk that your 5-lap older mediums can hang on there till the end. That's what I would do.
Meanwhile, Yoda is catching up to Freeware, looking for a podium position at the end of this race. Will he be able to do it? That was a question to you guys. Do you think he'll be able to do it?
Hennis and Strifty are still battling it one by one.
Ooh, a pile of garbage has retired from the session. I'm trying to locate where he is. That is an 11. And Freeware and Yoda head into the pits. They're very conveniently right by the car.
Chen's already passed the pits. He can't box. What's going to happen now? So this is interesting. There's only a few laps left. It's going to be a great advantage for Mikhail, but it's also going to give an advantage for Chen, because now Chen can back off on those tires that are starting to wear off. It gives a little bit of a breathing space. Obviously, he only had a 6-second gap anyway, so that's lost already. But Mikhail's going to have the fresher rubber, as Freeware and Yoda behind him are also going to have really fresh softs. So Mikhail not only has to think about how...
Ooh, that's not good. Chen has a drive-through, speeding under the safety car. That is going to give Mikhail essentially the lead of this race.
Yes. I think that might be Chen's biggest... And we don't see Chen making mistakes very often as well.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just didn't know.
I see a glitch where I've seen the safety car basically just parked on the pit straight. So let's hope that doesn't happen, because Bernard Mayer, who's been driving that safety car since 2000, has been doing a very good job. So I'm sure he doesn't make mistakes like that. It's going to be a very interesting end of the race now, because we only have the top 2 left on the medium tires. We only have 10 runners now. We've lost almost half the grid, and everybody from P3 down to P10 has fresh softs on. The only 2 remaining are the 2 leaders. And obviously this is a big problem for Chen, because he has the pit lane. That's going to cost him. He's going to drop all the way back to last right now if he has to box and serve that pit lane. Now I'm not quite sure how many laps he has to. He's boxing now, so he's serving it now. He's gonna end up.
And Mikhail will also box.
Yeah, he might end up about P5, P4 perhaps. No, P4. Maybe P3. Because Freeware's 20 seconds behind the leader. Yeah, so Chen will probably box now, serve his penalty, and come out. Oh, and Mikhail boxed.
Yeah, Mikhail. Yeah, I just said that a bit earlier.
Wow.
Interesting strategy. Will Chen have to go into the pits again just because he changed his tires?
Oh yes, he will.
Will Chen have to go into the pits again?
Yes, he will.
Yeah, so Mikhail is effectively leading this race right now. Chen will have to go to the back of the grid. Will still be scoring points. Everyone in the top 10, considering if they get 90% of the way through this race, they will get points.
Yeah, why would Mikhail? He is still pretty fresh medium rubbers, and he also was setting quick lap times compared to the other guys. So
I think the only reason Mikhail would pit for softs is if he knew that Chen had that drive-through penalty.
And maybe he was also felt threatened by Freeware in P3, because obviously under the safety car, when they restart, if you're on mediums and you have a fresh, soft runner behind you who's also a quick driver, you can lose a track position to them. He's obviously Mikhail's thinking about his battle with Chen. He's not thinking about his battle with Freeware, but he also has to guard against the possible threat. So this will be interesting. We only have a few laps to go as well, so any tire strategy right now will still work, apart from Chen, who had the very worn mediums, but that drive-through penalty. Now, when will Chen serve that drive-through penalty? Because he still has track position in P1. However, as you said, he boxed for tires and not for the drive-through penalty.
Yeah. A very interesting question. We'll see what happens as the safety car will soon get underway. Might not be this lap because Custom and Duck Lovers it's still like near the middle of Sector 2, and everyone's starting at coming in Sector 3.
So it's a little bit of an MRL dominance right now. We still have a lot of MRL runners. We have Chen, Freeware,
top 7, yeah, and top 9. They're just.
Wizard is reserve. Mikhail is also a MLR racer. So I think it's a little battle between these guys. They're probably on their own Discord channel right now, just giggling and laughing about their own little race strategy, as you can do if you sign up, obviously. If you guys are watching the Twitch feed right now, sign up to the LOR Racing if you want to race with these guys. It's a lot of fun. You can see the link up the top hand right.
Season will be starting end of August, start of September. You can race. There are spots open right now for when the F1 2020 game starts up. That will be in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks on Thursday. It is. Let me check my calendar for the exact date. That will be.
Yep.
That I believe the first race is.
20th.
No, 18th. Right? Yeah, July 18th on Saturday will be the first race.
Yeah, sign up, guys. It's a lot of fun.
In F1 2020.
Compete with these guys. I know for a fact that I can't compete with these guys, but to be honest, I have more fun commentating these races, or even race engineering. To me, it's more exciting because I don't have the pace as these guys. Yeah. These guys are great. They race really well. It's a lot of fun. And if you think you can race with these guys, by all means, join up, sign up. It's a lot of fun. These are really good guys. It's a really good community. Everybody has fun. You can get into the Discord, chat with everybody, laugh, have practice sessions, all sorts of things. You know, it's all about fun. These guys love to race. As you guys all know, it's a great little community. We all have fun. And as you're watching, you can see how great the racing is between these guys. It's very good. Yeah. I have too much fun watching it. To be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. We get we do get a lot of DNFs at tracks like Belgium. It's a lot. This where a lot of high speed corners and a lot of things happen. But that's pretty much that's pretty much inevitable. There's always going to be DNFs at a lot of them at a track like this. As we get the announcement that a safety car will come in. We'd absolutely love to have you. So we'd love to have you. There are only a few spots left for the current leagues that have assist 1, assist 2, and non-assist. But we will be pay close attention to join the server because we will be very soon opening signups for season 2. That will be a bit more of a process, just submitting. There will have to wait. So the game is, as Chen has gone away already. No one can overtake until everyone has crossed the line. So I'm going to put that thought on hold for a moment. As we get racing, see who has the better getaway out of Chen and Mikau. We are green once again. Mikau coming close. It is already 7/10 is the gap right now, although it is closing a little bit. Mikau, kind of close. We'll see how close he gets to Eau Rouge and Radion. Getting a little bit closer. DRS not activated just yet. Mikau is gaining little by little. It definitely will be enough to get to the place where they will be battling side by side. Won't be enough to pass. That is what we will have to find out.
Let's check with Ezzy. Ezzy, what would you right now if you were in Mikau's position? Would you be able to? What are you going to try to do to get past Chen?
I don't know. I mean, obviously Chen has to do the drive-through penalty, does he not? Still?
Yeah, Chen has to do drive-throughs, so.
So if I'm Mikau, I'm just worried about freeware behind, and he almost has it as a second already. So if he can get that to a second, he's going to be in the perfect position to win this race.
Although speaking of freeware, Yoda is right behind him through only 0.3 of a second, and is closing that gap now 0.2. Coming up through Stavelot. Gap has widened a little bit. Coming through Sector 3, coming through these fast left-handers. Will Yoda be able to catch up? Who is going to break later at the bus stop chicane? They won't be going side to side. As Chen has pit, he is doing his drive-through now. As Mikau sets the fastest lap with 1:44.943. Not as fast as FST Izzy in the non-assist race. Yeah, but he has 2 laps.
He's setting a statement right now going, you know what, Chen, you might have been leading the race, but now I'm going to set the fastest lap, so boom, bar, and I will win it. That's kind of that little pride that these guys have between each other. As Chen will drop, obviously, last position right now. Duck Lovers will move up to P9. There's crucial points between these guys. Everybody's obviously the top 10 right now, separated almost within 10 seconds, not even 10 seconds between the top 10. So this is going to be an absolute sprint race to the end. I'll let you guys complicate this.
Custom is pretty close to Total Wizard and Swifty, close to Headers once again. Battles for P5 and P7 going on here. This is what you want to see at the end of a race. Yoda also catching up to Freeware. So many battles going on, hard to pick which one to follow. Does anyone have any penalties? I surprisingly don't think that many people have penalties this race.
I wish I could tell, but I'm not sure. I can see that right now, unfortunately.
Duck Lovers catching Custom might be looking to go for a move at the bus stop chicane. Will he do that, or will he let off? Decides to let off. Definitely thought about that move, as DRS has been enabled on the final lap of this race. That will definitely play a part. We're gonna go first to Yoda coming up to the Camel Straight, although we still have a Rouge and Radiant in our way, and that can absolutely change things. Come through. It looks like Yoda has the better exit. Activates the DRS, coming to Freeware. Where's he gonna go? He's gonna go on that inside line. He's gonna make it look easy. Yoda up into second place. Meanwhile, Total Wizard on the back of Swifty. And meanwhile, Custom with the 3-second time penalty. That'll put Duck Lovers in provisional P8. If Duck Lovers doesn't have any penalties now, the main battles that are happening right now are Henners on the back of JJ and Custom on the back of Swifty, although Swifty is getting away. Henners closing in on JJ, having a very good run through. I'm trying to find a good one through turn 11 as Chen gets a 3-second time penalty. Not a good way to end his day. Chen just having a lot of penalties. Drive through, all the way to the back will still get a point. But that 3-second really just caps off a bad day for him, as Henners is just absolutely riding the back of JJ. He's going to go for a move at the bus stop chicane. He goes for the lunge. They're side by side. As Mikau will cross the line to win this race, it'll be Henners. I think the JJ comes back. It is right between the two of them. Who was it? It counts freeware. Counts freeways. I'm looking second place. It says JJ across the line first. I think maybe that was no. I'm looking at the wrong person. That was Henners who crossed the line in third.
And Yoda had penalties as well, so Yoda dropped back a little bit there. So what a race finish! Wow.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I couldn't tell what was going on at the end there, but that was an amazing end to that race. I see Mikau, a very familiar sight, hoisting the trophy, winning in Belgium. Champagne flying everywhere.
I wonder what's going through Shen's head right now, because Shen was leading most of the race. And a couple little errors cost him, and he all of a sudden, from P1, he's finished last. Or perhaps last. I'm not quite sure of the end results, but he's definitely down the field.
Still gets a point, though.
As we listen to the Australian national anthem.
Yeah, I don't have that queued up anymore. It's because I moved to a different setup now.
That's fine.
Mikau won the race, had the fastest lap, although that will not be the fastest lap in Belgium this week. That'll go to FST Izzy in the non-assist tier. Man, Yoda came so close, and same with Chen. They came so close to stealing that fastest lap away from Mikau. Just able to keep it barely. As you see the rest of our grid, 9 DNFs this race.
And look at Strifty in P5. He started on P11 and he's made his way up to P5, so that's a very good result. All those guys in the top 6 with the 2-stop strategies. Obviously, further down, we had people with ultimate strategies there, as had to box for repairs and so forth. A great drive there from Wizard there as a reserve driver, Yoda, and obviously Mikau Freeware. Mikau Freeware, we're starting to hear in Henners, we're starting to see that little pattern emerging between these two guys. So yeah, obviously what a thrilling race. Once again, that safety car towards the end, bring out a lot of entertainment, and Belgium, as we know before, and the other tiers, is a very exciting race.
Yeah, absolutely thrilling. Let's go to the interviews channel. Let's see if we can get anyone in there. I went to the VC channel instead. Now we're in the interview channel. We already have 4 drivers in here, and I know we wanted to, and I know that ideally I usually would talk to our winner first, but after the events of this race, I have to talk to Chen. Just what was going through your mind at the end of the race?
I don't know. I don't honestly have no idea how I got that drive-through. I mean, I know how I sped, but I felt like I was going pretty slow, and then I just look at the timer. It's at 0. It's at like 0 point something. I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna get a penalty, and I get a penalty, and then I just serve it, which is the worst after safety car, because that means everyone's bunched up, and I'm like 20 seconds behind everyone, and just to top it off, at the end, I got a 20-second penalty on the line for literally nothing. I don't know
20
why.
20 seconds? What happened?
But I have no idea. I got a 20-second penalty on the last lap.
We saw you went through. Yeah,
I did. So I don't know why I got that 20-second penalty, but yeah. It only cost me 1 position in the end anyways, so yeah. It was a good race before that.
Yeah, definitely very entertaining race. We had almost a full grid, and that is definitely very good prospects for this race. I'm gonna talk to Swifty. Ooh. You're definitely the biggest gainer in this field, going up from 11th to 5th place.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
big improvement. I didn't expect it, to be honest.
Doing pretty well. Charging up the field. How was the battle with Henners, just going back and forth throughout the race?
Yeah, I was worried a couple of times. We were just kind of trying to go back and forth off each other to try and catch up to Funky JJ. But like I kept on falling back a bit, and then tried getting in front, and then I was just so cautious because I'm quite new to league racing, and I'm just, oh my god, I don't want to bottle it here. I don't want to let anyone down. But yeah, I feel like I saw a big improvement from 11th to 5th place on the grid at the end. Really.
No, I had the biggest improvement. First 2 times, biggest improvement.
Yep. Just to let our audience know that was Chunjay and that was Swifty as well. Swifty, you finished in P5, right? I believe.
Indeed, yeah, finished in
Yeah,
P5.
that's good.
in
You're
red.
improving. That's obviously good. Your last race was a P7 in Mexico, so
Oh yeah, hopefully get a podium next race.
getting
But
better there.
Yep.
yeah,
And Swifty, that is, I think you're nope, yeah, Swifty P7. So I'm just trying to look at the standings right now to see how everybody's going. Mikhail, obviously, we'll speak to you, Mikhail, in a second there. JJ, how was your race?
Largely empty. Bit exciting on the line, even though I knew I had a penalty. But I wanted to finish ahead of Henry on the track at least. But he picked me on the line. Nothing really happened. Majorly happened. Knocked off my wing. Bit of damage into turn 1, and had to dive onto the mediums, which didn't change my wing first time around. So I had to pit twice under the safety car, which threw me. And I think Custom did the same thing. So he had to. We dropped right to the back of the grid, and then that late safety car kind of brought us back into the game. But bunching everybody up with that 3-second penalty I had dropped me down the grid on the finish line, which is a shame. But
How much
overall,
wind damage did you have?
I had dark orange, and it wouldn't change it on the auto.
Oh, you didn't
So-
select it. You didn't request your team to change it. You just decided to.
No, it was already on auto. I thought it was pretty much guaranteed to get changed.
Yeah, don't trust Jeff to change your wings. You have to do
No,
that
I know. But there we go. Is what it is. So it could have been a better result had I not had to pit twice on the safety car, and had I not got that penalty. But it is what it is.
Well, still in the championship. Still getting
For
up
now.
there.
Yeah.
And Freeware, how was your race?
Yeah, it was quite okay. After the early safety car I won, I fell down to P13 after pitting, I think. Then it was only a bit of avoiding collisions in front of me. Like in Le Combe, I think there were 4 cars crashing out, and 1 in Eau Rouge at the safety car restart. And yeah, after Chenji's drive-through, it was just and Yoda's penalty, just a comfortable P2.
Yeah, good points for you too. You're also P2 in the championship, so you're gaining a little bit more on Macau, but obviously Macau winning the race is going to gain a little bit more points. But we are only halfway through, so you have plenty of time. So Belgium is P6, like the 6th race in the championship. So everybody has to also get used to the new game. Are you guys looking forward to the new game?
Surely.
I love it. I've got the beta, so hopefully I'll have a head start on everybody.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there we had it. So JJ has a little bit of a advantage there over everybody. So perhaps we give you a penalty going into you'll have no qualifying then going into the first into
minus 10 points.
Austria, shall we say? Yeah.
Make up for my lack of pace.
Anyways, we gotta go soon, but we have to talk to our race winner before we go. Once again, this is your 4th race win, Mikhail. How does it feel?
Honestly, got pretty lucky with it. No, with that first safety car, I was tossing up back and forth between whether to pit, because I knew from my practice that mediums, like I could make the mediums last the entire race. They wouldn't feel great at the end, but they would last. But I decided to stay with track position, try and pull up a bit of a gap. I got the safety car window to Chenjay, which was good, but then it was only a virtual safety car, so
you boxed when you as far as I remember, your tires were half the distance. So I think at that point Chenjay's tires were about 14 lap old mediums, and you're on half because you'd boxed earlier, so your tires were a lot fresher, and you were keeping up the pace with him and gaining a little bit, but not a lot. And then obviously the safety car through the last safety car through changed everything right there. So your strategy, you could have gone obviously to the end there. Were you obviously thinking that if there was no other safety car and Chenjay had to go to the end on those one mediums, you would have probably end up gaining, perhaps passing him on track towards the end?
Well, I mean, no, the tires can really go off doing the mediums the whole race. I knew that, but just props to Chenji. He had the pace over me. Like, just didn't feel like we had the pace today in the garage. Just couldn't get really the setup right. Couldn't find the lines. Just it was a bit messy.
Actually,
but
that's my
props to the
question.
Renault
Sorry,
team.
sorry to interrupt you there. My question as well, because obviously it was tricky conditions in qualifying. It was wet. Did you alter your setup for the wet conditions of the qualifying, or you kept it more dry?
I only changed the things that are allowed to be changed in Parc Fermé regulations, because I didn't want um, the wet setup to hinder me in the race, because I knew that I probably couldn't out qualify Chenjo, because qualifying pace has been a bit subpar by my standards over the past week. But I was fairly confident I could still get P2 or P3, so still be towards the pointy end of the grid. So I just kept my setup suited for the race conditions.
Yeah, I also use a completely dry setup in quali.
You did
Because
while you were struggling, obviously during the qualifying as well. We had a few drivers. Obviously, as they came out first in those tricky conditions, they started pushing a little bit, pushed a little bit too much, a little bit of damage from some drivers, hitting the wall, having to go back and box with new wings and so forth. So it was a little tricky, but I think most people probably expected it was going to be a dry race. The strategy difference, you guys decided obviously to start on the softs.
yeah,
Well,
because I knew I knew there's gonna be a safety car, so I was gonna pit for mediums under safety car. So I didn't want to start on the mediums, otherwise I couldn't go on mediums. That was basically my only reason for not going on mediums.
all right. Well, so Mikhail, congratulations on your win. You dominate the championship again. You're going to build a little more of a lead now. So, but we still have half a season, so everybody else is going to target you now. You have a big painted target on your back.
Yeah,
So
next time I won't get a drive through, and maybe I'll beat him.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Well, I just have
It's
to work with the
it's
team.
1-1 on bottles. Okay, Mick bottled in Germany, I bottled here, so we're even now.
yep.
Yeah.
All
We'll be
right.
I mean,
doing
we're
it.
looking forward to it because you
Yeah.
guys are, obviously dominating right there at the front. Well, not really dominating so much. Mikhail's more dominating, let's say, the championship right now, but it's easy to one DNF or two DNFs, and the whole championship can flip right now. So, and we all are in uncharted territory as we get into the 2020 game. So, yeah, but congratulations, Mikhail.
Maybe they'll nerf pad on 2020. Probably not.
Hopefully not.
No, I've been hearing Pad's been
Been
better.
yeah
I've been hearing
yeah.
Pad's been the opposite of Nerf.
That'll be
So.
to my advantage.
We shall see.
Mate-
Yeah. Also, Total Wizard, great drive there from another reserve driver coming in late in the championship. So you are fifth in the championship. And how was your race?
I had a good start. Then after the early safety cars made it so that people were on fresh rubber and I stayed out. I was trying to my own against the faster cars behind me, and that resulted in me getting wing damage from the Renault.
Yeah.
Tried to fight him back into the bus stop.
Mhm.
Yeah, he kind of sent it a little bit, and I just closed the door. So
Just closed the door when I was already there.
Anyways, that's gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to go out now. Thank you all very much for interviewing. Thank you all on the stream for watching. We will see you later. Next race is, we said this earlier, I'm pretty sure it's July 20th, Assist 1 in Austria. And it is purely a coincidence that we have like 3 weeks in a row of official F1 and then us in Austria. So that was not planned at all. Hopefully you're all right with that. We hope to see you then. Have a good 2-week break. Bye.